both are equally damaging. Both are. So people, when they think of trauma, they think, well, nobody hit me in the house. I can't be that. And I was never sexually abused, so I'm not traumatized. But having a parent watching you in pain and not offering you a hand is trauma. Because what happens then is a child has no one to soothe their emotions. When they're going through pain, they have no one to soothe them. So nobody's there to kind of coddle them. So they then have to do it to themselves, and they don't know how to soothe themselves. So they develop coping mechanisms. And what these coping mechanisms tend to look like is very self-sabotaging. What a coping mechanism might be is being incredibly addicted to something. It might be addicted to a person, might be addicted to a feeling, might be addicted to a substance. But it's a way of calming yourself down, but it's false calm. It's not, the pain is still there. And it's how you know the pain is still there is the moment somebody replicates anything that reminds you of either the abuse or the neglect, you react as if they've burnt you alive.
Hi guys, welcome to a new episode of Untempered. Today is an exceptionally unique day because I'm sharing things I've never fully shared before. And I have the pleasure to sit down with an expert. I'm so lucky that you're here. Sadia Khan is here with us. Today we're going to be discussing childhood trauma and how it affects us. And Sadia, I've actually not even told you this topic. First of all, hi, how are you?
I'm great, how are you?
I'm good. Thank you so much for coming on the podcast.
Of course. Thank you so much for having me.
It's such a pleasure sitting here with you. I feel so honored and very, very lucky to have you here. And it's such a amazing topic to talk about because I feel like we're not really normalizing how much our childhood trauma affects us. So your voice and your incredible advice has been sounded all over the UAE on amazing podcasts and all over social media and
it's
countless
everywhere,
places.
right?
It's everywhere. And it really inspired me because actually the way I actually found you, because obviously we just met, but it was through a reel that really touched, like one of my heartstrings.
One of my first questions to people, especially clients, is what reel made you want to reach out to me?
Yeah.
Do you mind me asking what reel it was?
Yes, of course. It was a reel about you saying why certain people get cheated on and how their upbringing sometimes can be what results in them going into relationships where they're constantly being cheated on.
Right.
And actually that inspired me not only to reach out to you, but also to create this topic because it's a topic that I've always wanted to talk about. And to give you a little bit of a background, because like I said, we just met, I have such a, and this is why I started this podcast as well, because I feel like I'm doing what I would have wanted to hear. I wanted somebody to be talking about things that I constantly was struggling with, but I didn't really have anybody specific to listen to. I didn't feel inspired. So I thought, why don't we sit down and have these deep conversations with incredible people like you and really, really dive deep into trying to make this like inner voice of ours a little bit kinder and more self-aware.
Yeah.
So I've struggled with childhood trauma from both of my parents.
Okay.
And I've had a lot of emotional neglect. And there was a side of also violence and domestic abuse from my father directed towards me and directed towards my mom. My mom was very emotionally disconnected on a lot of ends. And I think maybe if it was her way of coping, she has completely invalidated unvalidated, I don't know the word, but invalidated my emotions whenever it came to me speaking up about the abuse that was going on. And I felt really like what they say, like alone in a big crowded room my whole life. Now, what I want to talk to you about today is I've realized now that I'm 32, how much this is affecting my romantic life.
Yeah.
And not just now, but in the past, I'm now looking back and I'm going through these memories and things of exes and stuff and thinking, oh my God, there's a pattern here. There's something going on.
Yeah.
So my first question to you would be, I feel like we're constantly on a pursuit of trying to figure out why we're having relationships we're having, why we're pursuing these people, why are these people in our lives, good, bad, how are we going to be able to deal with these triggers that they don't even know that they're doing in these relationships. So basically the first question is, how is this going to affect somebody like me? And is it going to stop? Is there a chance to heal, or is it a consistent Is it consistent work?
Okay. Well, first of all, thank you so much for being so vulnerable. I always come into podcasts kind of expecting a more typical relationship-based podcast, and I'm yearning for this discussion.
Oh.
And so I really appreciate you having the bravery to discuss something so personal. And I get very emotional when I discuss these topics because I know the pain it causes people. And not only does it cause the person so much trauma, but the person that's trying to love them often experiences secondhand trauma from trying to love them as deeply as they can. So having somebody so open about that is a gift for me. So I appreciate you, reaching out and being so vulnerable. And I understand exactly what it's like when you feel like, am I just going to be messed up forever? Just someone tell me now so I know whether I'm going to be forever difficult to love, or is there a way of fixing it? Just tell me so I know. And unfortunately, it's a little bit trickier than just that. So I do have to kind of delve in a little bit to understand what the trauma is, how did it create wounds, what are the triggers, and what your partner is like. Unfortunately, we have to kind of go a little bit deeper. So do you mind me asking how long you've been in a relationship?
Yeah, we've been together for 6 years.
Amazing.
We've been married for married on paper for 3, but after the ceremony it's been a year.
Amazing.
And we have our daughter, she's 2, and we are very different. I'm Lebanese American. I've grown up lost and confused and really on my own ever since I was 15. Oliver, my husband, he is a race car driver. He's had his same passion since he was 9 years old. His parents supported his dreams and have
Healthy
always
kind
been
of background for him?
healthy, very healthy background for him.
Praise be to God, yeah.
Yeah. So I think actually I feel so guilty saying that, but because we are, I feel like sometimes he feels bad that he has a good, trauma-less childhood, and we constantly fight about things, not constantly, but we do fight about things that trigger me where I feel like you don't understand me. You don't get that this hurts me. You don't get that. And he's thinking, I didn't do anything. Like, well, it was something so simple. I talk to everyone like that or you know. So then I do see it when I step out of it after an argument, and I think, well, he's right. It probably didn't deserve that reaction. And then I feel self-deprecating, which takes me back to childhood, which I was constantly being told that I wasn't good enough. So I became naturally self-deprecating. But now in this relationship, I'm thinking, how can I send the message and be able to communicate that these are triggers for me without constantly feeling like I'm talking about myself and then bringing him down and you know, that's what's hard is like we are so different.
Of course. And here's the thing. Everybody on paper can be similar. They can like the same things. They can be from the same culture, speak the same language. But how we know we're similar or not is the level of trauma we experience as a child, because then we know how, if we've got similar triggers and if we know how to soothe one another. Now, being traumatized as a child like you were with a combination of abuse, here's the thing. Parents can traumatize you in 2 different ways. One can be active, where they actively abuse you, negative, physical, emotional, actually abuse you. The other can be passive, where they don't give you support and they give you neglect and they don't show concern for your emotion. Both are equally damaging. Both are. So people, when they think of trauma, they think, well, nobody hit me in the house. I can't be that. And I was never sexually abused, so I'm not traumatized. But having a parent watching you in pain and not offering you a hand is trauma. Because what happens then is a child has no one to soothe their emotions. When they're going through pain, they have no one to soothe them. So nobody's there to kind of coddle them. So they then have to do it to themselves, and they don't know how to soothe themselves. So they develop coping mechanisms. And what these coping mechanisms tend to look like is very self-sabotaging. What a coping mechanism might be is being incredibly addicted to something. It might be addicted to a person, might be addicted to a feeling, might be addicted to a substance. But it's a way of calming yourself down, but it's false calm. It's not, the pain is still there. And it's how you know the pain is still there is the moment somebody replicates anything that reminds you of either the abuse or the neglect, you react as if they've burnt you alive. You react as if you burnt them alive, and they're going to try and give you water, but you're rejecting it and then blaming them for not saving you. That's what it really feels like when you've been traumatized. And it's really difficult because the person who's been traumatized wants nothing more than love. But because it's so unfamiliar to them, when they get it, they're suspicious of it and they reject it and they test it and they punish the person who's trying to love them unless they meet somebody who's bad for them. When they meet somebody who's bad for them and is also abusive and is also neglectful, this feels familiar. I know how to navigate this person. I'm going to love you with all my heart. But somebody who's consistent, caring and loving, what's wrong with you? Why are you loving me? This can't be real. Let me test you. Let me swear at you. Let me shout at you. Let me pretend to break up with you. Let me test you. But you, the abusive, neglectful, narcissistic kind of partner, you're exactly what the doctor ordered. I know exactly what to do with you, so I'm going to love you endlessly. So the person ends up being very traumatized and re-traumatizing themselves and reincarnating the abuse almost voluntarily. But of course it's not voluntary. It's all like you have like trauma is like a little puppet master that tells
cycle.
you what to do. So that's the baseline of trauma.
You literally just defined exactly what I go through. I literally don't know how to let someone love me.
Well, here's what you do know. When you get abused as a child, you develop a core belief. And what that core belief will be is no one loves you, no one cares about you, you're unworthy, and you deserve this. Because this is what a child's going to learn. They're not going to learn, I hate my dad's horrible, my mum's a bitch. They're not going to learn that because we are programmed to love our parents. Whether we like it or not, it's in us, because if we don't love them, we have no one to save us, we die. So we're programmed to love them. When they start abusing us, we don't stop and think, dad's on a substance, mum is just really detached. We think, I'm unlovable, I'm disagreeable, I'm the problem. So we develop this deep down inside of us, and then we go through life looking for people to validate that belief.
Wow.
So we look for somebody who reminds us that we're unlovable, we deserve pain. When we meet somebody who doesn't remind us of that, that's weird, that's uncomfortable. You almost punish them for trying to love you. And they're like, but I love you. I don't understand what. Yeah. And you're there like, you have this trigger and you explode at them. And then afterwards you're like, but this is all I've ever wanted. Why am I punishing my partner? And you're almost then crying and they're like looking at you like you're bipolar. But it's because you have that inner child that's broken and the adult that wants to be with this healthy relationship.
Right.
And they're constantly battling each other.
Absolutely. You just nailed it right on the head. I mean, that's the exact thing that I've said to myself and I've written in a journal. It's like, I don't understand what this is everything every girl wants. I mean, he is such a great partner and he does support me.
And a great father as well.
And a great father as well. The thing is, the nature of his job, now I feel like I'm in a therapy session.
Please
but
do,
let's
please.
Go.
This is my favorite part of life, so please do.
The nature of his job is to be away a lot. And
yes,
for me, that's how I feel. And for a while, I couldn't really say those words because I felt I could hear my mom saying, oh God, all you do is complain. You know, everyone would dream of going to America by themselves and starting their dream. You've always said you love California. Stop moaning. And that's why I never said the words of I was abandoned until I went through therapy. And now I'm okay with saying I survived abandonment
extreme
and
abandonment.
neglect. Right.
Yeah.
So when he leaves, I feel abandoned. So I resent him.
Yeah.
And then he calls me and he's checking on me all day. He's constantly trying to meet my needs a long distance. But I just feel like I don't like him.
Here's the thing with independence. It only comes when we feel safe. It doesn't come just like that. So what I mean by this is you have a 2-year-old. So this is why it's so beautiful, because you get to see it in live. When your 2-year-old knows you're in the room, she'll probably be running around, playing, kissing people, being absolutely fine. The moment you leave, she gets anxious. Children need to know that they're loved first. Then they can explore the environment. Then they can go out and be independent. But if they're not loved by their parents, they can't be independent. They're constantly looking for codependency because they don't feel safe. So you having an abusive father and a neglectful mother means there's no way you could have enjoyed your independence at 15. It's like matter of death for you at 15. But when you've got really loving and secure, safe parents, you can do anything by yourself. Now, what happens then is when you get into relationships, until you feel safe and secure, you can't calm down. You can't soothe yourself. So, and I have the same problem. I'm super clingy, and with separation, I associate separation with paranoia. I get angry and I get upset, and I need a lot of soothing afterwards. But if I get my soothing the moment I'm triggered, and I get contact and I get relief, I let go. So welcome to my course on masculinity. And in this course, not only will I be able to completely transform your understanding of women, but on a more personal level, you will enhance your self-esteem, self-respect, and your boundaries. The goal of this course is to take a man that has absolutely fantastic intentions, wants to find love, wants to commit, wants to have a good, healthy relationship, but is finding that he's constantly running into women who are narcissistic, who are disrespectful, who are disloyal. Now, if you are finding that continuously, then there must be something in your engagement with women that is causing this. What my course will do is look at where this problem comes from, how to resolve it, how to communicate effectively with men and women, and how to command respect. Most importantly, how to improve your self-respect. And throughout the course, you'll be given interactive sessions, but with course materials to help you channel and journal your learning. So if you are interested in becoming the most masculine version of yourself, join today.